You're watching Bookmark, the 30-minute bookshelf, a series from Between Thoughts.
Today, we're diving into something, well, potentially life-changing. The incredible power of tiny habits, drawing from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. And the author's own story is pretty compelling, isn't it? He had this horrific baseball bat accident in high school. Fractured skull, serious stuff, long recovery.
Yeah, a really tough time. And he even got cut from the varsity team later. But somehow he ends up an academic All-American.
Right, and the key thing is it wasn't some single dramatic comeback. It was about these small, consistent improvements he made day after day.
Exactly. And that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To explore how these tiny, seemingly insignificant actions, when you repeat them, can lead to, well, amazing results, unexpected results even.
Okay, let's get into it. The book kicks off with this really interesting concept, the aggregation of marginal gains. Sounds a bit technical, maybe.
It does, but the example makes it crystal clear. Think about the British cycling team. Before 2003, they were, well, honestly, pretty mediocre.
Right, they hadn't won much of anything significant for ages.
Exactly. Then Dave Brailsford comes in as coach, and he introduces this philosophy. Improve everything by just 1%. Not looking for some magic bullet, just tiny gains everywhere.
Everything. So like lighter bikes, better tires.
Oh, way beyond that. Yes, the obvious stuff like redesigning bike seats for comfort, using alcohol on tires for better grip, even electrically heated shorts for optimal muscle temp.
Heated shorts, okay.
But also things you wouldn't even think of, testing different massage gels. And this one's amazing, hiring a surgeon to teach everyone proper hand washing.
Hand washing to win bike races.
Yep, to cut down on colds and illnesses that could derail training or performance, just another 1% improvement.
And the results were just staggering, weren't they?
Absolutely. These tiny, almost invisible tweaks all added together. They went from average to dominating the sport, multiple Tour de France wins, Olympic gold medals. It was a complete transformation.
So how does this apply to, us?
Yeah.
To everyday life?
Well, the book argues that habits are basically the compound interest of self-improvement. It's a brilliant analogy, actually.
Compound interest? Like with money?
Exactly. Just like money multiplies over time with compound interest, the effects of your habits, good or bad, multiply too. Getting just 1% better each day for a year, you end up nearly 37 times better.
37 times, wow.
But the flip side is true too. Get 1% worse each day and you basically decline down to almost zero. It highlights the massive impact of tiny, consistent choices.
So what you're saying is our current results, our weight, our bank account, our knowledge, they're really just lagging measures of our habits.
Precisely. Your net worth reflects your financial habits.
Right.
Your fitness reflects your exercise and eating habits. You get what you repeat consistently. It's all about the system driving those results.
Which brings us to this next big idea. For ages we've been told, set big goals. BHAGs, right? Big, hairy, audacious goals.
Right. Go big or go home.
But this book really questions that. It suggests focusing too heavily on the goal might actually be, well, part of the problem.
It does, and it makes this really crucial distinction. Goals are good for setting a direction. They tell you where you want to go. But systems are what actually make progress.
Can you give an example of that?
Yeah.
System versus goal.
Sure. Think about a basketball coach. The goal is winning the championship. But if the coach only focuses on the scoreboard, they're missing the point. The system is the daily practice, the drills, refining technique, team communication. If you focus on the system,
The score takes care of itself.
exactly, the score takes care of itself. And there are problems with being purely goal-focused.
Like what?
Well, first, winners and losers often share the exact same goals. Every team wants to win the championship, right? It's the system that separates them.
That's a good point.
Second, goals are often temporary solutions. You achieve the goal, say, cleaning your messy desk, but if you don't change the system that created the mess, it'll just get messy again.
Right. You hit the goal weight, then slowly gain it back because the underlying eating habits didn't change.
Precisely. And finally, goals can kind of restrict happiness. We think, oh, I'll be happy when I achieve X. So happiness is always deferred, always waiting for the next milestone.
That cycle of once I get there. Yeah, I can see that. So the message is If you're struggling, maybe it's not you that's broken, but your system.
That's such a powerful and honestly liberating idea. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
You fall to the level of your systems. Wow.
And that's where the term atomic habit comes in. It's not just a small habit, it's a fundamental unit, like an atom that's part of a larger compounding system. It's the building block.
Okay, this is making sense. And it connects to another really deep concept in the book, changing your identity.
Yes. This is maybe the most profound layer. It argues that true behavior change isn't just about outcomes, what you get, or processes, what you do, but about identity, who you believe you are.
So instead of, I want to lose weight, or I will go to the gym,
it's shifting to, I am a healthy person, or I am an athlete. When your behavior aligns with your identity, it feels natural, not like a chore.
Is there a story in the book that illustrates this?
Yeah, the example of Brian Clark, who wanted to stop biting his nails. He managed to stop, which is hard enough, but then he did something key. He started getting regular manicures.
Manicures, why?
To take pride in his nails. To reinforce the identity of someone who cares for their nails. He wasn't just not doing something bad, he was actively being someone different.
Okay, so the goal isn't just to read a book, it's to become a reader. Not just run a marathon, but become a runner.
Exactly. It's a total game changer. Your identity, the book says, literally means your repeated beingness. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become.
A vote. I like that.
Yeah. The more votes you cast for healthy person by eating well or exercising, the more you believe it. So it's a two-step process. 1, decide who you want to be. 2, prove it to yourself with small wins.
And that creates a feedback loop. Habits shape identity. Identity shapes habit.
You got it. It's a virtuous cycle that makes change sustainable.
Okay, so we have the big ideas. Compounding, systems over goals, identity. How do we actually do this? The book gives us the 4 laws, right? A practical framework.
Yes, based on the 4 steps of any habit. Cue, craving, response, reward. The laws are designed to manipulate these steps. So, law 1, make it obvious.
Make the cue obvious. Why is that first?
Because so many habits happen on autopilot, the cues that trigger them become invisible to us over time, like that paramedic who just knew something was wrong with her father-in-law, or the clerk who mindlessly cut up a credit card.
Right, the trigger is subconscious. So step 1 is just noticing.
Yeah.
Becoming aware.
Exactly. You need to bring those invisible habits into the light. Things like the habit scorecard help just listing your habits and marking them good, bad, or neutral. Simple awareness.
Or that pointing and calling thing from the Japanese railways.
Yeah. Verbally calling out actions seems silly, maybe, but it forces consciousness and reduces errors. It makes the invisible visible.
Okay, so awareness is key. What are the practical tools for making good habits obvious?
2 really powerful ones. First, implementation intentions. This is basically making a specific plan. I will behave here at time and location.
So not just, I'll exercise more, but I will do yoga for 20 minutes at 7 a.m. in my living room tomorrow.
Precisely. It removes the vagueness, makes it concrete. The other tool is habit stacking.
Stacking, like building blocks?
Kind of. You link a new habit you want to form onto one you already do automatically. The formula is, after current habit, I will new habit.
Oh, okay, like after I brush my teeth, I will floss 1 tooth.
Exactly. Or, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. You use the momentum of an existing habit to launch the new one.
And environment design fits in here too, right? Making cues visible.
Hugely important. Your environment often shapes your behavior without you even realizing it. That hospital cafeteria study is a classic example.
The one with the water bottles.
Yeah, they just moved water bottles to more prominent spots near the cash registers and in all the fridges. Didn't lecture anyone, didn't try to persuade.
And water sales went way up, soda sales went down.
Dramatically. Just by making the cue for the desired behavior, drinking water, more obvious. So, make good cues visible, make bad cues invisible, put fruit on the counter, hide the cookies in the cupboard.
Simple but effective. Okay, so law 1 is make it obvious. What's law 2? Make it attractive. How do we make ourselves want to do it?
This taps into the craving part of the habit loop. Our brains run on dopamine. And it's the anticipation of a reward, often more than the reward itself, that drives us.
Like scrolling social media, the anticipation of seeing something interesting keeps you hooked.
Exactly. Or think about those lab rats. When dopamine was blocked, they lost all motivation. When it was stimulated, they'd press a lever hundreds of times just for a hit. We're wired to chase attractive rewards.
So how do we make, say, exercising or eating vegetables more attractive? They don't always feel immediately rewarding.
One great technique is temptation bundling. You pair something you want to do with something you need to do.
Like the guy who hooked up his exercise bike to Netflix.
Yeah, Ronan Byrne. He could only watch Netflix if he was cycling at a certain pace. He bundled the want, Netflix, with the need, exercise, making the exercise more attractive.
That's clever. What else makes habits attractive?
Social influence is huge. We naturally imitate the habits of three groups: the close, family, friends; the many, the tribe, the majority; and the powerful, those with status.
So joining a group where the desired behavior is the norm helps a lot.
Massively. If everyone in your book club reads consistently, you're more likely to read. If your friends are all training for a 5K, it's easier to join in. You want to belong. Think of the Polgar sisters in chess. Their whole family culture made intense chess studies seem normal and attractive.
And even just reframing how we think about a habit can help.
Definitely. Shifting your mindset. Instead of, I have to go for a run, think I get to build my endurance. Instead of, I have to save money, think I get to build my future freedom. Associate the habit with positive feelings.
Okay, makes sense. Obvious, attractive. Law 3, make it easy. This seems counterintuitive sometimes. Don't we need effort?
Well, the key insight here is that habits form based on frequency, not necessarily duration or intensity, especially at the start. It's about reps, getting the reps in.
Like practicing scales on a piano. It's the consistent practice, not one marathon session.
Exactly. Neurons that fire together wire together. The more you practice the pathway, the more automatic it becomes. So the goal isn't heroic effort every time, but making it easy to just start.
Reducing friction.
Precisely. We naturally follow the law of least effort. We'll choose the easiest option. So you want to make your desired habits the path of least resistance.
How do we do that practically?
One way is priming the environment. Set things up beforehand. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Chop vegetables on Sunday for easy weeknight meals. Put your book on your pillow. Reduce the steps between you and the habit.
Like that developer who reset the room each night.
Yeah, Oswald Knuckles. Putting things away, setting things up for the next day, it makes starting the next good habit much easier.
And the other big one is the 2-minute rule.
Ah, yes. This one's brilliant. When starting a new habit, make it take less than 2 minutes to do.
Less than 2 minutes, that seems too small.
It sounds small, but it's about making it ridiculously easy to start. Read before bed becomes read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes.
It lowers the barrier so much you can't really say no.
Exactly. It's a gateway habit. Anyone can read 1 page or put on their shoes. Once you've started, it's much easier to continue. But the key is mastering the art of showing up, even for just 2 minutes.
And flipping this for bad habits. Make them difficult.
Yes, the inversion.
Yeah.
Increase the friction for bad habits. Unplug the TV and put the remote in another room. Delete distracting apps from your phone. Use commitment devices like Victor Hugo locking away his clothes to force himself to write. Make the bad choice harder.
Okay, obvious, attractive, easy. That leaves law 4. Make it satisfying. Why is this the final piece?
Because what gets rewarded gets repeated. We need some kind of payoff to lock the habit in for the long term.
Like the hand-washing project in Pakistan.
Exactly. People knew they should wash their hands, but it wasn't sticking. When they introduced a really nice, pleasant-smelling soap that lathered well,
It became more enjoyable, a satisfying sensory experience.
right, that immediate positive feeling reinforced the behavior. Hand-washing rates soared, and health outcomes improved dramatically just because the soap made the process satisfying.
But many good habits don't have immediate satisfaction, do they? Exercise feels hard. Saving money feels like deprivation initially.
That's the challenge of our modern world. Our brains evolved for immediate returns, find food, eat now. But things like exercise, saving, learning, they have delayed returns. Bad habits often have immediate pleasure, but delayed consequences.
So we're fighting our own evolutionary wiring.
In a way, yes. Which leads to the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. The key word is immediately.
So how do we engineer immediate satisfaction for those good long-term habits?
You need to find a way to give yourself an immediate reward. If you skip buying that expensive coffee to save money, maybe immediately transfer that amount into a special savings account labeled Dream Vacation. Seeing that balance tick up gives you an instant win.
Find a way to make the progress feel good right away.
Exactly. And habit tracking is another powerful tool for this. Checking off a box, seeing a streak build on a calendar, it provides visual proof of progress, which is inherently satisfying.
Like Jerry Seinfeld's "Don't Break the Chain" method.
Precisely. That visual chain becomes motivating in itself. You don't want to break it.
And for making bad habits unsatisfying immediately.
That's where accountability partners or habit contracts come in. If you tell a friend you'll pay them $20 every time you skip a workout, or you sign a contract with penalties for indulging a bad habit.
It makes the consequence immediate and painful.
Right. It brings the long-term cost into the present moment, making the bad habit less appealing now.
Okay, those 4 laws seem incredibly practical. But the book goes further into mastering habits, right? Some advanced tactics.
It does. One key idea is aligning your habits with your natural inclinations. Understanding your personality and skills, your genetics, to some extent, and choosing habits or pursuits where you have a natural advantage.
Like the Michael Phelps versus Hicham El Guerrouj example. Different body types excelling in different sports.
Exactly. It's not about being limited by genes, but about playing a game where the odds are stacked a bit more in your favor. Work with your nature, not constantly against it.
Find the right pond to swim in, so to speak. And what about staying motivated long term?
That's where the Goldilocks rule comes in. We experience peak motivation when we're working on tasks that are right on the edge of our current abilities. Not too easy, we get bored. Not too hard, we get discouraged.
Just challenging enough to stay engaged.
Right. And the biggest threat to long-term success often isn't failure, it's boredom. Once a habit is established, it can become routine, even dull.
So how do you combat that boredom?
Professionals stick to the schedule even when they don't feel like it. Amateurs let moods and minor inconveniences derail them. It's about embracing the process, even the boring parts, because you're committed to the identity.
And finally, how do you stop habits from becoming, well, stale? How do you keep improving when something is automatic?
Through reflection and review, you need systems to check in, assess your progress, and make adjustments. Like the LA Lakers performance tracking system. It prevents mindless repetition and ensures you're still aligned with your goals and identity.
So periodically step back, evaluate, and tweak the system.
Exactly. And keep your identity somewhat flexible. Don't let one achievement or role define you so rigidly that you can't adapt and grow.
Wow. It really comes back to those tiny, consistent actions, doesn't it? It's not about finding one magic moment, but about stacking those small wins day after day.
That's the core message. Success isn't a finish line you cross. It's a system you continuously refine, an endless process. At the end of the day, you become your habits.
So if you want to change your life, you just have to keep showing up, keep saving, keep writing, keep exercising, keep caring, because those atomic habits, they don't just add up.
They compound.
They compound. A final thought then for everyone listening. What tiny vote can you cast today for the person you want to become?
Thank you for joining us on this journey through today's book. This was Bookmark, your 30-minute bookshelf summary, brought to you by Between Thoughts. We hope it brought you clarity, calm, and a little spark of inspiration. New episodes drop regularly, so stay tuned, stay curious, and keep turning the pages one thought at a time. Until next time, take care and keep growing.